Welcome, welcome. Today we're going to do a top. We're calling it the wrap collar. And just because, I want you to look at this photo because it is a wrap collar. This is the inspiration. I love it. It's so simple. It's just really easy. And I'm starting with pattern 197. And the reason is for that neckline, the shape of that neckline. I'm going to show you how to get it even, regardless of the pattern you want to start with. But I wanted a knit. I wanted a neckline that was lower. I wanted a long length. I wanted to wear mine with leggings. So this is a day for me where I'm in the office all day. I've showered. I don't want to wear makeup, but I want to be comfortable so I can throw on some jean leggings. I use this fabric. It's the fabric number is 2308. I think it is 2308. Sorry. Yep, 2308 because it's 100% cotton terry. So it gives me the feeling that I've just thrown on a sweatshirt. I'm a belt fanatic. I love belts. And so I just throw a belt on it and I just feel like I could go anywhere and yet I'm as comfortable as if I'm in my pajamas. So it's just a home run completely. This fabric has a companion 2307. So I think a great combination also would be to do this sleeveless and then with a little wrap over it. I think that would be a great look also. But it's perfect for spring. The color, just a little bit of peekaboo neckline, all the little details. We're going to show you this little extended sleeve here. Again, just as fun little options that you can do. But let's get the information right. So I'm going to show you this picture again, except in the second picture, I've altered things a little bit because I want you to observe perspective. I want you to look at the width of the collar and the width of the neck, the width of the shoulder, the width of the collar at the neck edge, at the base of the neck, and the width of the shoulder. That is about the same. So when I measured how wide I wanted my wrap neck, which I did 4 inches, I did my shoulder the same. So if I'm using Kendosa's top, I'm going to show you how to change the shoulder here in just a minute. But there's the other thing I want you to notice, and it's slight, is that the width from the base of the neck to, or the center of the neck, I'm sorry, to the bottom of the collar, from the bottom of the collar to the top of the neckline, those two are about the same. Now, if you'll notice again, just slightly, if you look at this, that the wrap collar, I'm sorry, gets wider right through the center and then goes narrower as it secures to the neckline. I made mine all the same because I was raising the neckline. I did not want that much cleavage to show. I didn't want any cleavage to show. So I raised my neckline, therefore I narrowed the band, and I'll show you all of that. I just wanted you to kind of notice those little details as we looked at the photo. So the first thing I'm doing when I'm using Kendosa's top is I'm actually going to, I lay the French curve down and the numbers I got, it was 23 at the front and 13 at the shoulder. So because I'm going to bring that in and make the shoulder wider, you can see I'm just pivoting that French curve so that it's actually pretty much the same numbers, but I'm widening that shoulder seam. It'll give you more stability. And the main reason I did it is, if we look at the back for just a minute, and the shape of this neckline is really important because if you put a collar on a neckline that's not the right shape, the collar won't react like you want it to. And if collars are wrong, it's really not the fault of a collar, it's the fault of the neckline. So in Kendosa's top, the original line, if you put the French curve down, now it grades out, so you're going to get a little bit of variance in your numbers. The numbers go from 16 to 21. That is too much depth for a straight band to go onto. So I'm adding an inch at the back of that top, and I'm adding an inch at the shoulder, and I'm connecting those two lines and I'm making them 17 to 21. And you can see this is a close-up of that 17 to 21 is how I'm drawing that. So I'm closing up the back neckline. I'm not raising the front neckline, I'm just pivoting it over to make the shoulder 1 inch wider is all we're doing. And then I'm going to add 4 inches to the bottom of the sleeve. And if we see here, just draw the sleeve down, extend 4 inches to make the little thumb hole. We'll show you that in a minute. But I want the sleeve. 4 inches might be too long for you, but the good news is if it's too long, you can just simply back it up and cut it off. Okay, so then I'm going to make the band, and I've made 2, so I can wear one and you can see what the neckline looks like. Now again, because I'm at the office, I'm just comfortable all day, I didn't want any finished edges. I wanted everything raw, so there's no hem in the bottom. the sleeves, the neckline, I just wanted everything left, knowing that that knit would roll a little bit, and I liked that. But if you didn't, you cut, what you're going to do is, again, I've decided this is 4 inches wide, and I cut it 30 inches long. You don't have to, but that's just a good ballpark. I just took the width of the fabric and cut 4 inches wide the width of the fabric. That's what I started with. I used 2 yards of this fabric, and again, it's 2308 is the fabric. So what I did is I just cut the long strip, and it's straight. All it needs is to be straight. Remember, this is kind of like a full roll collar is what this is. I marked the center, and I pinned the center at the center back of the shirt and just literally stitched to the shoulder seam. I put mine underneath. There's no reason, rhyme or reason. I just kind of figured that's kind of the look I wanted. In the front, I wanted it underneath, not on top, because you're going to cut it off. And so I slid it underneath and then just stitched it down in place. And then as I wrapped it around the front, this one came to this side and this one came to this side. Stopped stitching at the shoulder. And then I stitched all the way around just to give it the same finished look. But as I cut this off here, you're going to follow the shape of your neck edge. So you'll notice that the edge of this cut off is a little bit curved because so is your neckline. And then you're just going to put it underneath and stitch that in place, and same with the other side. So this is the basics. There are so many fun things that you guys can play with. You can play with how wide do I want this actual collar. Don't put the collar on a neckline that's too broad or too low in the back, because it won't wrap around the neck. That's why I made sure you raised the neck in the back and extended the shoulder in. If the shoulder is too broad, the neck, the collar is too far away from the neckline to actually wrap it, and it will just melt. It'll just kind of puddle down. It won't do anything. And so you've got to make sure that you're in far enough, and that's why I did the 4 inches. And 4 inches are pretty standard for most of us. 4 to maybe 5, and that's why I did the width of the collar, the 4 inches. So you're going to wrap it around, and again, you're going to cut both sides just to get them even. Mark center front of the shirt, and then you can put these underneath. And again, I stitched all the way around just to give it a, a similarity. You wouldn't have to. You could do decorative stitches. You could do embroidery. The terry you could put out and the other side in. Just, as sewers, there's countless variables. All right, so that's the base. Then on the sleeve, what I did is I serged all the way down the side of both sleeves. Just before I put it in, I just serged all the way down. And that was once I set the sleeve in, because I left it open. I didn't start serging it together. And you're following the directions on the pattern. And so I just started serging the sleeve together here and left this open. And then once I tried it on, you can see this close up, I left a space for the thumb hole, and I could pin where it was and then secured the bottom. So really fun to do. Again, this is just a different little look that's been out there a little bit. So I thought I would combine the two and give yourself a great wrap collar. So happy sewing from Silhouette Patterns. Thanks for watching.